All right, number 6, develop a scatter chart and compute the sample correlation coefficient to explore the relationship between time spent on the website and the number of pages viewed. So let's take a look at this. Time spent on the website and the number of pages viewed. Well, those two are side by side, so that's important. Let's highlight those two. Go to Insert and Scatter Chart. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this and add our other information. Okay, before we do that, take a look at the last sentence. Use the horizontal axis to represent the number of pages viewed. So that's not what's happening here. The number of pages viewed is actually in our horizontal axis, or I'm sorry, our vertical axis. So what we want to do is flip this around. So let's delete this, and we'll actually take these two. Frankly, I like to just copy this to a new page so I don't mess things up. And then we don't need this one. We'll just get rid of that. But we want to move this over here. Now, when you do your scatter plot, there we go. Okay, now we have your number of pages viewed at the bottom. That's your horizontal axis. And you have the time spent on the left side. That's your vertical axis. Again, you can add a trend line. Okay. We can also modify the axis over here because we don't need anything past the decimal point. So let's get rid of that just to clean it up. And then don't forget to add your title. So chart title, let's do spent and number of pages. Okay. Now, as with the other charts, if you want to go up to chart design and change your chart design, feel free. You could do that if you want to. Totally up to you. The other piece here is to look at the correlation coefficient. So same thing that we've done in the past. Let's come back to these two columns. Make sure you have the whole column highlighted. Just the data, not the whole column, but just the data. Highlight it with the titles. Go to your data toolbar, data analysis, correlation, and let's just make sure that this is the right. Let's do this one more time. Make sure it's the right thing. Labels in first row and hit OK. All right, now you can see that this is also a strong relationship between the two. The number of pages viewed and the time spent seem to correlate quite strongly. All right, that wraps it up for the first 6 questions in Minor Project 1. Make sure you put this in the Managerial Report document that's found in Blackboard. It should look like this, and it's pretty well filled out for you. This lets you start with your executive summary to let us know what is it that you're analyzing, in this case, Heavenly Chocolates. You can put some information in here about this, that you're trying to understand the data of Heavenly Chocolates. You can talk about your research problem, your research questions, which are the 6 questions that we have listed in the book. The data that's examined, you can talk about the different data set or the different variables in your data set. So you have the customer, the day, the browser. Each one of these is a different variable in your data set. Then we can talk about your findings and include your data visualization here. A lot of times what I see in this section from students is that it lists each of the 6 questions and then just adds the data visualization as necessary. Make sure too that you're adding a narrative. Be clear and concise, but add the narrative that matches the data visualization below. What we don't want to see is a whole page or 2 of data tables and graphs and things like that to where we have to keep flipping pages back and forth. Make this easy on your reader. The idea behind the managerial report is that this is something you could use at work. So let's say your employer gives you an assignment to go and do some research. You can come back and this executive summary should say what you did, why you did it, and just a very high level of what you found. So if all they read of this entire document was the executive summary, they should have a pretty good idea of what this is. But you're restating some of the information. Don't ever assume that the manager that assigned this to you will remember why you did this. It could take days or weeks before you turn it back in, and a lot could happen between now and then. So always restate the obvious here, assuming that whoever's reading this may not know what they're reading. So just start from the beginning, let them understand what's happening, and then walk them through the process. Communicating your data analysis is just as important as knowing how to run the data analysis. So go ahead and do your best with this and submit it in Blackboard for minor project 1.